Bullet Club.
If it's your first time with us, this is Leanne Presents. I'm Leanne, I'll be leading this video today, and I'm joined as always by my wonderful husband, Alan, who is my co-host. Hello.
Hi.
So this, as you've seen from the title card, is our reactions to the most recent WWE Premium Live event, which is the Royal Rumble, which took place on the 27th of January. We watched it the 28th of January because we're in the UK and can't stay up that late.
I mean, we could, but
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want my sleep. And we're recording it just after watching it, so these are our direct reactions. Keep going. Okie dokie. So this Royal Rumble, if you watched our predictions video, which we put up recently, you'll know it took place at Tropicana Field at St. Petersburg in Florida. So if you haven't already seen our predictions video and want to check that out, we'll put a link somewhere on the screen to it. Otherwise, stay with us, but be warned that since this is reactions to an event, if you haven't actually watched the event, it's spoiler heavy, so we'd recommend if you were planning on watching the Royal Rumble, watch that first and then come back.
Yep.
There we go. So Royal Rumble, one of the most anticipated premium live events from WWE.
Hey, Leanne, have you asked our viewers if they're Rumble ready?
Are you? Not just any ready.
Rumble ready.
Thanks,
Hulk.
I don't know if you wrote it, but he said it.
Thanks, brother.
Yes. So, in a bit of a more unusual turn, that we opened the event with shots of different stars arriving at the event. They sort of have shots of them in the arena before the crowd start filling in. So while they're preparing.
Apparently they're trying to go for a more sporty, realistic look. So I guess UFC might do the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
They go, this was such and such arriving at the building here today. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I quite like that. We've seen in the various documentaries that before these types of events, a lot of the stars do. They go into the arena and take it all in before it happens. So it's nice to see that being represented actually on the show, which is great. Okay, so we had those bits. And then we had the opening extravaganza.
Yeah, so with the intro, one thing I've got on my notes already on the intro is that they spoiled an entrance to the Women's Rumble on the intro. So as Randy Orton sort of stood there looking around, and you just had the name Roxanne Perez on the screen behind on the entrance boards, and it's like, did they just ruin a surprise entrant?
But she definitely wasn't announced beforehand as an entrant.
No, and we haven't said whether or not she is an entrant yet. So this is pure speculation at this point when we're watching it.
So as it was going through, you were wondering whether maybe they were just using old
they might just use or NXT names or whatever,
just
to test the screens out. But
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Some of you will already know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the classic opening premium live event vignette, which showcases the type of event, the wrestlers that are involved, and as well the place that they're in. And it's all narrated by Hulk Hogan, who I think is from this area, or at least loves this area.
He owns a shop there as well.
Oh, nice.
Some sort of surf shop or something.
Surf shop, of course.
He sells a lot of NWO merchandise.
Okay. Cool stuff. Good old Hulk Hogan. There wasn't any controversy there at all. And next, our first surprise of the event, I suppose. We have someone joining the commentary team, and unfortunately for Alan, it's Pat McAfee. I always try and say Pat McAfee, but it's Pat McAfee, I believe. Unless I'm getting mixed up again. So he joins the commentary team, so prepare for him standing up, singing along, doing all kinds of weird stuff. Someone had to replace, what was it?
Kevin Patrick.
Kevin Patrick.
Who has been released now by WWE as well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So he was pulled off the SmackDown commentator's desk, and a couple of days later he's given his marching orders. So, okay.
Controversy! And then we head into our first match.
There's plenty of controversy around WWE right now, and we're not going to cover it fully,
No.
but we'll touch on it later on when it's relevant.
When it's relevant. All right, Women's Royal Rumble. So we were quite interested in this match because, as we mentioned in our predictions, there were only 4 women announced for it, and that did not change through SmackDown. It was still only 4. So we were sort of there with no idea who came out, and there were a lot of names that came out. They're like, oh, I forgot about her. So it's one of those things. So I'll reel off the names and then we can talk about our highlights, if
Yep.
that's okay with you.
Mhm.
And number 1 is Natalia. And number 2, Naomi, whose name is printed in her hair, which is a bit crazy. Like, interesting. Number 3, Bailey. Then Candice LeRae. Then Jordan Grace.
Yep. From TNA Wrestling.
From TNA Wrestling.
Current Knockouts champion.
Awesome. Indy Hartwell, Asuka, Ivy Nile, Katana Chance, Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane, Tegan Knox, Kaden Carter, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Xia Li, Zelina Vega, Maxine Dupree, Nia Jax. I was going to say Jaya Nax, that would not have worked.
Wow.
Shotzi, Becky Lynch, Alba Fire, Shayna Baszler, and then at 24 we had Valhalla, but also R-Truth. So I guess that's probably the right point to just quickly talk about R-Truth coming out, because he obviously gets confused a lot. Came out, thought it was a men's rumble. He gets into the ring and is eliminated very quickly. But then while that distraction's happening, Valhalla gets into the ring and is also eliminated really quickly, which is disappointing. And then she yells at R-Truth. Fun times. After that, we've got Michin, Zoe Stark, Roxanne Perez, Jade Cargill.
Shot myself in the foot on that one.
Yes.
Yeah. Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, and Liv Morgan. So Roxanne Perez was she from a different
NXT.
She's from NXT.
From NXT. Tiffany Stratton from NXT.
That's right. So we got a couple that came up, probably just for this show, and then they'll be carrying on. But it's nice to see them represented and sort of to remind ourselves that the women's roster is big and it does have some great people.
Yeah,
They're just not all utilized.
How many times did someone come out and go, "Oh, I forgot they were on the roster"?
Exactly. What have they been doing for the last few months? I don't know.
One word: catering.
Catering. Yeah. So there we go. There's some highlights for me in this were Bailey and Asuka's chemistry. So Bailey was in this from number 3, so really early on. And then Asuka comes out, and obviously with the damage control stuff happening, we don't know.
Current dynamic control.
Yes, it's very hard to tell whether they are still a team or not. Bailey seems to be like on the cusp of getting thrown out and betrayed, but it's not happening. No. And a lot of that was really shown in this match. Yeah. They were sort of working together, but Asuka wasn't really friendly, but she was still really enthusiastic about being a team.
It was almost like Bailey was an afterthought.
Yeah.
Especially when Kairi Sane turned up.
They worked together quite a lot, and Kairi comes in and they work together still. They're eliminating people left and right. And then Kairi gets eliminated, and it all sort of goes wrong.
That was nuts.
It was
holding herself on the apron. Man.
So she's like arms out, holding herself, legs just like bent in, trying to grip onto the sides, but she could not hold on, and she was gone, which is a shame. Another highlight for me was Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So when Piper comes out, Chelsea's about to be eliminated. Piper catches her and is like, we're a good team. And then she like acts like she's going to drop her. Like, hilarious. I loved it. But then like through the rest of their time in the match, Chelsea is just getting absolutely pummeled, mostly by Piper Niven, like just yeeting Nia Jax into her. She's just in the wrong place at the wrong time all the time, getting sandwiched.
And vice versa as well. Nia Jax was yeeting Piper Niven into Chelsea.
So Chelsea just getting squashed by two of the biggest ladies in there.
That was great though. Like, I'm not really a fan of this Chelsea, the gimmick that she's got going right now, but I quite enjoyed this whole little segment with them.
I think it really works in a Rumble to have a comedy sort of element. I think they did it really well. I very much enjoyed it.
Comedy element's one thing. What they did to Valhalla was dirty.
Yeah, that wasn't comedy.
I didn't like that at all.
And it wasn't even like, it was in the background behind the refs that were trying to like stop R-Truth getting there.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just an afterthought. And the other highlight for me before we get into like the final lot, Jade Cargill eliminating Nia Jax, which is insane. She like lifts her up fully.
Dumped her.
Great, that woman is strong.
They really need to start doing something with Jade Cargill.
Yes.
Seriously.
Let her wrestle. Come on. It's not that hard. She's good at stuff. But the bit that made that even better for me was you had Becky Lynch standing off to the side with just like the look of like, just wonder and amazement. And then Jade clocks her and is like, what are you looking at? Just that whole like the facial expressions there. Yeah, brilliant. I think Bailey was involved in that as well. And yeah, it's good stuff.
And let's be honest, Bailey the MVP of this match.
Yeah, Bailey was amazing.
Like she's been good from like day one. She's been really great, but there's Bailey here, and this Rumble match, Bailey's like up here somewhere. Yeah. It's like she's kicked it into that next level. And
yeah, she didn't have any slip ups. She eliminated loads of people either on her own or with Asuka and with other people. She lasted so long, which we'll get to. Very soon. Any other highlights for you before we get into the final?
No, you pretty much it.
Awesome. So we were discussing this before and thinking, okay, we'll do final four because that's sort of I tend to do final three, but final four fits more with the WWE kind of way of thinking. And then this happened, and we ended up with a final three because Bianca and Tiffany were both eliminated at exactly the same time, and they were 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So we ended up with a final three. But if you want to say final four, it's either Bianca or Tiffany. I don't know.
Bianca Stratton. There you go.
Bianca Stratton.
Or Tiffany Belair.
So the final three was quite a surprise. So we've got Jade Cargill, who you kind of expect. She came in quite late, and she's a powerhouse.
Yeah, like 28, I think. Something like that.
And then we got Liv Morgan, who we didn't expect to see at all. We kind of forgot.
I didn't even recognize her music when she started playing. I was like, wait, we've already had Candice LeRae, because they kind of start quite similar with the kind of like the toy box music, and it's like...
And then it's Watch Me. Oh!
Oh!
Love Liv Morgan. She's great, but she's been out with an injury.
Yeah, I want to say shoulder, but I'm not 100%.
She's like just vanished from everyone's consciousness and then popped back up.
She has been on Instagram, and somebody said, oh, Liv Morgan's up because she's pregnant by MJF, and she's been like messing around and hearting these messages and stuff, and it's like, that's brilliant.
She's great.
That's hilarious.
And Bailey, who's been in since number 3, and now is in the final 3, so that's poetic.
She's been in for around about probably 55, 58 minutes at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, we end up with all 3 of them having gone over the ropes, and they're all on the apron. Liv manages to eliminate Jade with like it's the Oblivion, but at an angle, so she manages to stay on the apron and flings Jade off, which is such a great move. So she has no ring rust on her right now by the look of it. So that happens. Jade's obviously not happy. Then Bailey, as Liv is like celebrating this, Bailey kicks her out.
Yeah.
So she's like immediately gone, and then Bailey won. Bailey wins. So
boom.
As Bailey predicted, she has won, and she is going to WrestleMania. It's awesome.
Speaking of predictions, in terms of those, who did you pick? Becky Lynch to win.
Yeah.
And I picked Bailey to win.
And you were very pleased as you were ticking in your book.
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at this.
I'm more happy. Well, I'm more happy that Bailey's actually won the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because look at the way the story goes now, right? SmackDown, Damage Control will come out. You know, you've got new women's tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors. You've got Io Sky as the women's champion. You've got Bailey as the Royal Rumble winner. Like, Bailey can be like, who am I going to fight at WrestleMania? And they can be like, well, it's Rhea Ripley, right? And she's like, I'm still thinking about it, So string it on for a few weeks, and then it causes that rift in Damage Control to split a bit more. And Io's going like, you're coming after me. I know you're coming after me. Why aren't you picking Rhea? And it kind of sets that whole thing in motion, where she will then probably get booted from Damage Control and become a mega face.
Or on the other side of things, since Damage Control seem to be marginalizing Bailey, is she going to use this as her leverage for them to like start treating her better? Because if they don't, then she might challenge for it.
Maybe. Yeah.
There's a few things that could
There's
happen.
a few ways it could go.
We like this.
Yeah.
We decided to count how many times the sign was pointed to. It wasn't quite as dramatic as I thought it was going to be, to be honest. So in the Women's Rumble, we had 4 sign points, and also one that gave a thumbs up to the sign,
Indy Hartwell,
which I haven't seen that before. So there we go.
I think it's Indy's thing, a thumbs up and that.
Thumbs up at the sign.
When Indy Hartwell showed up, I did wonder if Dexter Lumis would show up in the men's.
Yeah.
Did he show up? Stick with us to find out.
Oh, or if you've already seen it, then you know.
Yeah, you already know.
So yeah, I thought this was a really fun match.
Yes.
There were some sloppy moments. I'm not going to go into who and where and why.
Yeah. There's one that springs to mind immediately, but yeah, let's not.
The thing is, in a match like this, something is going to go wrong one way or the other, because it's chaos. Yep. So we can give a bit of leeway. I really enjoyed this match. There were loads of fun moments and a lot of story development and sort of little tidbits in there.
I reckon we're still going to get to see Becky Lynch and Nia Jax at Mania.
Yeah, probably.
As much as I don't want to see it, because the last match on Raw was just not good.
Yeah.
I mean, this was my least anticipated match
Mhm.
on the card. I think I picked that one as least anticipated. And I really enjoyed it. There, as you said, it wasn't any like, oh god, that was awful.
No.
There was some fun moments. There was some, oh, that was good moments.
Mhm.
You know, it was a good show on a run.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Mm.
All right, we got some filler as expected. So there's a merch ad. There's a merch for the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game.
I want to cover that, right? So, I was part of I was on the alpha.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
so the
Suicide
closed
Squad.
alpha had to sign an NDA and everything for it.
Yeah.
I played through it and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. The
Mhm.
storyline was great. Yes, the combat was quite generic. It wasn't anything special. It was some bits where I was like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing here?
Mhm.
But you get that in most games anyway.
Yes.
So a lot of people are slagging it off for no good reason, just because it
Yeah.
doesn't mark up to the Arkham Knight games. This is not like the Arkham Knight games. The
No.
Arkham Knight games, you're playing as a solo individual. This is more like Gotham Knights, where it's a four. You can play it to 4 characters
Mhm.
online. You can play it single. And I enjoyed Gotham Knights as well. The story on Gotham Knights wasn't great.
Mm.
I feel the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League story is going to be better than
Yeah.
the one in Gotham Knights. I really enjoyed Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad when I played it.
Give it
I
a
just want to put
chance.
that out. Yeah,
Not sponsored.
I think people are just too quick to jump at something and jump on a bandwagon. Oh, that guy said
Yeah.
something bad about it. Let's jump on that bandwagon.
Oh, it happens everywhere,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
I really liked it. The one thing I have seen is they are putting some free DLC into it,
Nice.
and there's going to be a Joker coming into it, even though he's
Ooh.
dead in that universe.
Okay.
But it's an Elseworld. It's come from one of the other universes.
Gotcha.
It looks like a 10-year-old kid. The model, it looks awful. That is the one thing I'll say. The Joker model looks awful.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Tangent.
Yeah, we love a tangent. Let us know if you're planning to play the game. I don't know. It would be nice to know things. All right, so we got that ad, and then we have an ad for St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida, which is where it is. Quite a long ad.
It's like a tourist
for,
ad.
Touristy thing, which they gotta do it. And then an ad for WWE Live, and then
Because you turn around then and you're like, is this for the video game? It's like, no.
yeah, it's like I don't know what is happening, but yeah, it's the live shows.
Yeah.
And then we move into our next match, which is the Fatal 4-Way for the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
Mhm.
And there might be a heavyweight thrown in there, depending on who you ask.
Samantha Irvin is heavyweight in that.
So this is Roman Reigns versus LA Knight versus Randy Orton and AJ Styles.
Yep.
This match is very, very much sponsored by Slim Jim. They have before LA Knight's entrance, they play one of the ads because LA Knight is in it. Which, for a start, you're in a premium live event and you're playing an advert between people's entrances. Rubbed me up the wrong way a bit.
Yeah.
And then
If you're going to do that, right, play the ad and then have LA Knight come out first.
Yeah, exactly. So it's part of the filler, and then you can just go into it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
But then, for the whole match, apart from there was 10 seconds where it didn't happen.
A brief moment.
The ring apron, the turnbuckles,
Security
the
barriers.
barriers, everything was plastered in
Bright orange and yellow.
Slim Jim ad. It was distracting. And later on, they had another sponsor on them, but at least it was black.
It was black for the
coloring,
most
so
part, yeah. It was
you could ignore
the
it.
Cricket Wireless 5G
That's right.
thing.
But Slim Jim is bright. They also had there's this massive group of men who are in the Long Boys Club or something, Long Boys Gang,
I have no idea.
which is some Slim Jim related thing, and they were all going mental and just biting Slim Jim still in the wrappers.
The Long Boys Gang. That sounds like something you hear in Cyberpunk.
A little bit weird, a little bit too much Slim Jim.
A little bit, dare I say, and I think Grayson Waller used this at some point. A little bit cringe. Was it a SmackDown? Yeet. Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, it was later on. Yeah.
Later on, no spoilers.
Sorry, I'm mixing myself up.
But yeah, there was a lot of Slim Jim, which was very distracting. But we still got to enjoy the match, so it was fine. Highlights from this match: Randy Orton hitting an RKO on AJ Styles while Styles was on the top rope.
Oh God, yeah.
RKO him off the top rope, which I thought was cool. Needs a lot more of a
I still
jump
think
to get up there.
I think that would have been. I can't remember if we did this already when you went for the phenomenal forearm. I can't remember if Randy Orton picks him out of the air at some point in the match.
Ooh,
I think that would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like he's going for his move, crunch, not reversed by Randy Orton. I think that would have been better than like a draping RKO. Because that's the fact, because he had his feet on the ropes, on the top rope, and then he kind of dropped him down. I think having that motion as AJ comes off the ropes into it
like,
would have looked more.
It's a whiplash moment.
Yeah.
Then at one point, Randy so almost pins Roman Reigns.
Ah.
It's so close, but then you hear the 1, 2, and then nothing. It's like, what has happened? And then it shows Solo Sikoa. After
The angle was so tight. Yeah, the angle was so tight. I was like, 1, you see the arm of the ref. 2, and then it's like, where's the ref?
Where are they gone?
And then, as you say, they cut angle and Solo stood there, and it's like, you son of a...
But it was such a good angle to use because people didn't know what was happening, and
but that doesn't work well in the building. That's the problem.
No, in the building they can.
I really rather seeing the ref getting just yanked because you just kind of go 1, 2, wait, what? You know, I prefer seeing the ref in motion.
There was that moment for me of, did he just do it? Did he do it? I didn't hear it, but is it done? Yes, that was interesting. And then we also had a one after this. Solo has sort of stacked up Randy Orton and LA Knight. And he's gone to try and get Styles in as well and stack him. He tries to look for him for ages. I don't think he knows where he is, but doesn't manage to do it.
No, that's where he goes to the barricade when he's trying to hit Styles.
Oh, yeah, he goes through the barricade. That's right. But then AJ Styles manages to hit Roman Reigns and stack him on top. And
you kind of accidentally fall onto him. Yeah.
They did work it really well because they made very much sure that all 3 men in the stack, their shoulders were on the mat, so there could be no
pinfalls.
Yeah. And then
nobody
you got AJ Styles trying to pin all 3 of them at the same time. I'm pretty sure it's Randy Orton who was at the bottom that kicked out.
Yes, it was.
Just like
it was. I do get the feeling that because of the angle we had, I reckon that LA Knight did kick out with one of his shoulders, but you couldn't really see it because of the angle.
That would have been such a good finish, though. Imagine.
Well, they kind of did it before at Mania a couple of years ago with Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan at that time on Edge, where he was smash them and stack them, and he did, and he pinned them both.
Yeah.
So.
Any highlights from you before we get to the finish?
I like the frenetic energy of it.
Yes.
A lot of the guys had a good showing. All of them had a good showing.
Definitely.
I'm going to say this now. The ending really took me out of it. Yeah. I did not like the ending.
The ending was very sudden. And we were like talking about something because it just felt like this match had like a lot of leg room.
Yeah, I haven't got the length of time for the match.
It felt like there was a lot more that could be done.
Yeah.
So we weren't expecting it to end so quickly, and we had to rewind and watch the finish again because we had no idea what just happened. So AJ Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Roman Reigns pushes LA Knight into the ropes, which knocks AJ Styles off. Then Roman hits him with a spear, Styles with a spear, and pins AJ Styles to win and retain the championship.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't like the ending.
I can see they sort of made us a bit of a story of it with it wasn't just a straight one hit and done. AJ did get hung up on the ropes beforehand and it was like an accidental thing. But yeah, it did sort of all happen very quickly and it felt a bit like an anticlimax.
For a title match with this stakes in it?
Yeah. He could have kicked out. He'd been like dominant for quite a lot. Overall, though, this was a really good match. Like you said, that it was really dynamic. There were so many spots that had a lot happening. And fun and different moments. But yeah, that finish did make it made the match feel really short. And sort of ended very
too abruptly. Too abruptly. In terms of predictions, you predicted LA Knight to win the title. I predicted Roman Reigns to retain.
Wow.
So even though when the pinfall happened, I was like, oh, I got it right.
Yeah, a little bit. So there we go. And then we get some filler.
Wait.
So we see Cody Rhodes exiting his tour bus and then walking through the car park. Good stuff.
I think Pharaoh's on that bus. I want to see Pharaoh, damn it.
Then we get an ad for the Love and WWE show.
Oh, the
Bianca Belair one.
Yeah, pass.
Hard
pass.
An ad for the WWE Experience, which is opening in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that's this month, isn't it? Not that they've got much left. Did they give a date or?
I can't remember. I wasn't paying that much attention.
Because they said it was opening in January, and there's like 3 days left in January, right?
No, I think it's soon. They were definitely saying it was soon, but I don't remember the date.
Maybe they had to push it back or something.
Yeah. an ad for NXT Vengeance Day, which is coming up.
Mm.
Then they do the usual thanks to the band for doing the song. So the song's Wild Child by the Black Keys.
Mm.
And then they show Jelly Roll in the crowd. But yeah. And after that excitement, I think it's time for...
Go to that now. Wow.
Leanne signs of the premium live event. Leanne signs of the PLE.
It's cancelled.
Sorry. Yeah, there were quite a lot of signs, but a lot of them were generic, which is fine. I did actually have enough to choose between signs this time, so that's a good thing. So in third place, we've got there was a sign, Paul Heyman 2024 with an American flag. Paul Heyman for president.
Imagine Paul Heyman as president.
You do a good job, I reckon. Number 2, which came up in the next match we're going to be, which is why this is here. Paid to hear Samantha.
Oh,
so now there's been a lot recently. Wasn't it that Samantha was told to tone down her introduction?
Yes, it was a Chelsea Green one specifically, and they had a little bit of an exchange on social media, and she said it came from a higher up, so I'll go talk to them, effectively.
Wild, but I'm glad someone appreciates Samantha because I think she's doing a great job.
Yep, I agree.
And number 1, which was actually during the Women's Royal Rumble, and I may have got the number wrong on this, so I apologize in advance. It was number 13, Taylor Swift. That would have been a surprise entrant in the Rumble, wouldn't it? It's creative. Imagine. I mean, they've had stars who aren't wrestlers in the Royal Rumble previously.
Yeah, didn't Johnny Knoxville join the Rumble a couple of years back?
I think so. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, though.
I reckon she'd do a good job. I think she'd put her heart and soul into it.
I don't know. I reckon she'd just shake it off. It's the only Taylor Swift song I know.
It's the only one you need to know. But there we go. So that was Leanne signs of the PLE. Leanne signs of the PLE. Play. Your favourite segment of the show. The only segment of the show. Moving on to our next match.
Well, I mean, if Pat McAfee, or Pat McAfee, or whatever the hell you want to call him, ends up coming back to commentary full time, as is rumoured after the departure of Kevin Patrick, then I might start a Pat McGaffs.
McAfee's Gaffs?
McAfee's Gaffs, yeah.
McAfee's Gaffs. I will look forward to that. Are we going to have to make you a sign for that one?
But then saying that, I might have to do cold gas with the ratings going. Antlerless? You can't say the word antlerless?
It's antlerless.
Antlerless?
Terrible.
Good God, man, get a grip.
I know, right? Okay, so this match is for the United States Championship, and we have Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. Yeah. Anyway.
What was that noise?
So, a couple of highlights, I guess, before we get to the finish. Okay. Bear with me on this one. Logan Paul doing the splits.
Yeah, that was very, and it's quite funny, is that's the thing Naomi does.
Yeah, it is definitely.
So when he did it, I literally said, whoa, all right, Naomi.
But, I mean, the flexibility on that guy to be able to
do you know why?
Why?
Because unlike The Miz, he has tiny balls.
But it's like, he almost did more than a split. He, like, lifted his leg right up, so he's standing on one leg, and his other one's, like, above his head.
She's like a ballerina. Who does that? Someone used to do that. They used to put it right up here and then just drop. I can't remember who it was.
I know I've seen it before, but from a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, of all the things we can say about Logan Paul.
And I've seen them do that off the
flexible.
second rope as well. Like, I'll be damned if I can remember who it is.
Oh, ouchies. And the other thing I've got as a highlight was a moment where Logan Paul is like yelling at the commentators, and he says, "You said that no man could superplex Kevin Owens. Watch me."
This.
And then he proceeds to not superplex Kevin Owens.
Because nobody can superplex Kevin Owens.
He counters it beautifully. But
yeah,
that made me laugh. I enjoyed. Anything from you before the finish?
You're gonna probably hit the floor on this one. I have something complimentary to say about Logan Paul.
Is it about his splits?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. He's taking a beating off Kevin Owens, right? Kevin Owens goes to the top, he hits a frog splash, and he goes to pin him. The ref's counting 1, 2, and Logan Paul kicks out.
Yeah.
Logan Paul was not ref watching. His eyes were closed the entire time.
Sweet.
So he doesn't ref watch, at least not in that moment.
No.
And I think that's great.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to talk about the frog splash? The non-frog
splash?
That was a commentary issue.
Yeah, that was a commentary
issue.
Yeah.
It was just a splash.
It was like a dive splashing.
Yeah.
Like what does it called?
He
Use
put
so
his arms
splash
behind his back like the Usos do,
Yeah.
and just like a straight splash.
Yeah, it was
So
just
the commentators
splash
called
over the
it a
top,
frog splash.
It wasn't a
even though
frog
there
splash.
wasn't
You
a-
didn't do the froggy,
You didn't do the frog bit.
the ribbit. But yeah, no, I'll give him credit where it's due. He doesn't ref watch, and I haven't really noticed that before. And I don't know if it was just a one-off. I don't know, but
Yeah. I don't like the guy, but
I hate the guy.
he's learned the business, and we've got to give him credit for that. Unfortunately. So okay then. So the finish is a bit of a long run. So bear with. All right. So the ref turns his back, and you have Logan Paul. He goes to the ropes, and he's like,
well, he's telling the ref,
the
go look
crowd.
at Kevin Owens or something, isn't
Something like that. And then the guy.
Oh, because he hit him with his punch, and Kevin Owens kicked out.
Yes, that's right. After he gets with titanium,
he doesn't get KO'd.
So the random dude who I think is in
I think his name was
videos,
Jeff. I think they said his name was.
I got Jeff as well.
Yeah,
Jeff
yeah.
someone.
Jeff someone.
So he comes over, presumably with the brass knuckles, to give them to Logan Paul. But the ref turns around and sees him, and he calls for security. And security are trying to get Jeff out, and Logan Paul's yelling, "But that's Jeff!" And Jeff's going, "But I'm Jeff!"
It could be Barack Obama. It doesn't matter. He does not belong in that environment.
But he'd thrown the brass knuckles to the side when the ref saw it. He like tossed them to the side. But then, as this is happening, out comes Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and we're like, "What are they up to?" They're definitely up to no good. So Grayson Waller goes over and tries to argue that Jeff should be allowed to stay because it's Jeff. It's a lot of Jeffs. And while that's happening, Austin Theory, I didn't see him pick up the brass knuckles.
He didn't hear them in
so
his.
He had his own set of brass
them on him.
knuckles, and he gives them to Logan Paul. Logan Paul tries to use them on Kevin Owens, but he spots it and he counters it, manages to rip them off Logan Paul's hand, puts them on his own, hits Logan Paul, and goes to pin. Unfortunately, on 3.
Well, but yeah, it's like 1, 2, and I'm like 3. Yes.
You thought you'd got it,
and you're like, no, the ref didn't count it. I'm like, what?
Because Kevin Owens still has the brass knuckles on his hand, and the ref sees them, put 2 and 2 together, assumes that Logan Paul got hit with the brass knuckles, so disqualifies Kevin Owens.
Right. So okay.
Here we go. Let's do it.
So yeah, Logan Paul wins.
Yes.
He retains. Blah 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 blah. What did you? I got that right. You got that right. Okay. Now, the rule of reffing, right? What is it?
So if you don't see it, you can't call it.
Did he see the punch with the brass knucks?
No, but he saw them on his hand. So
Okay, right, hang on, right. So he saw a hand, so he made a deduction, right?
Uh-huh.
He sees Jeff jumping over the railing. Why didn't he disqualify Logan Paul, knowing that he had brass knucks?
Because a hit hadn't happened.
Same logic.
He didn't see it.
He didn't see the hit, though, right? He can put 1 and 1 together, and he can come up with 3.
Yeah.
Who's to say Owens didn't hit him with it? Let's say he hit him with the left and hit him with the stunner. Wouldn't have hit him with the brass knucks, right?
It's just an accessory.
Exactly. Well, no. If he didn't hit him with the fist, right? Let's say he stunned him instead, right? And he still sees the brass knucks. Well, I'm going to disqualify you because you hit him with the knucks. Why didn't I hit him with the stunner? 1 + 1 does not equal 3, ref. You cannot count what you cannot see.
There you go.
He should have just said, right, get the knuckles out the ring, continue the match. Referee's a moron.
So I think the only way to come back from this is if they use that controversy
storyline
going forward.
It'll be like no DQ, street fight, steel cage.
Like it was an unfair finish, all this stuff. Yeah.
Something like that. Ooh. What if, right? They probably won't do Elimination Chamber over WrestleMania. The return match, Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah, that could happen.
Steel cage, you can still get stuff in. Hell in a Cell, you can still get stuff in, but it's harder because the cage is smaller.
Yes. Yeah, interesting. So overall, it wasn't an awful match.
No.
There were some really good spots. Finish was controversial, but it was interesting.
There was a part in there where Kevin Owens picked up Logan Paul and he had him by the scruff and he had his head down. He was there a bit too long.
Yeah.
It's like, right, you're going to do this, then this, then this, then this, then this. And it was like, Kevin Owens is clearly leading this match because he is the vet. He is the professional. And in that aspect, he carried most of the match.
Yeah. It was.
Now,
he did a really
did
good
Logan
job.
Paul do some good stuff? I will concede, yes, he did. Do I like him? No, he's a piece of trash.
You don't have to like him.
Do I want him to be champ? No. Do I want him in WWE? No, I don't. Hell no, I don't.
You can still appreciate that you got some moves. Yeah. You can do the splits.
And that's the only thing I will say nice about him and the not watching the ref.
Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. All right,
Mhm.
are you ready for some more filler?
Mm.
Yay! All right. We got Hulk Hogan talking about how nice St. Petersburg is.
Are you Rumble ready?
Rumble ready.
Whenever someone mentions Hulk Hogan now, it's going to be, are you Rumble
Are you
ready?
Rumble ready? Not just any ready.
Rumble ready.
It makes no sense. Then we have like a promo for the work that they do at the Boys and Girls Club in the area, which is cool. They have an ad for WWE 2K24, an ad for Elimination Chamber, which is on February the 24th, an ad for WrestleMania, which is in 70 days.
Yep.
And they then do the attendance record, which is 48,044.
Bloated.
That's the numbers.
Bloated.
Probably.
There is no probably about it.
Oh,
The capacity of the stadium, they said themselves, was 40,000. How can they have 48,000 people in there?
They got a lot of staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess what?
It's time for Rumble Ready.
Main event.
Ah, whoops. My bad.
Rumble Ready. Not just any ready.
My bad.
It's the men's Royal Rumble. So before anything happens, we have this video package.
So, yeah. So go on.
A video package about the Royal Rumble, and it's talking about Royal Rumbles in general, and it's already out of date because the Women's Rumble happened.
Yeah.
So when they're talking about like how many women have won the Rumble, it's not right
and
anymore.
Rhea Ripley's the longest thing in the Rumble, and she isn't anymore because Bayley topped it by a couple of minutes.
Why didn't they play this at the start of the show? It's probably because there was already that video package about
Morons?
I don't know. I think
Morons. That's the answer. Morons.
it's silly. Come on, guys. It would have been better to do it at the start before the Women's Rumble to introduce Rumbles as a whole, and then you get. Anyway, all right. What have you got?
I don't remember what it was.
Okay, shall I start listing who's in it in the right order?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Oh wait, got it.
Nice.
Yeah. So before we obviously talked about the SmackDown
Yes.
and the fact there was no new competitors named for the Royal Rumble for the Women's Rumble.
Yes.
There was 4 new competitors named for the Men's Rumble. So 11.
They can announce more people.
11 members were announced by the end of SmackDown officially.
It's a bit better. Definitely a bit better.
Still 4 less than last year. But if you add the Women's Rumble announcees and the Men's Rumble announcees this year, you get the total of the Men's Rumble announcees from last year.
That's very true.
That's a lot of time saying announcees in one sentence.
So I guess before going into who is in it, I will note I did put it into we did update the description to say that I'd changed my most likely to turn up from Brock Lesnar to Sheamus. Because there'd been a bit of controversy.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry, I know what I'm going to put into it.
Cool. All right. So we start off. We have Jey Uso.
It's just me, Uso.
And now it's not just him because number 2 is Jimmy Uso.
And my brother, Uso.
I must say, starting out with these two was a genius idea. Unfortunately, they didn't do enough with it after other people started coming in.
I thought they would try and start building to a WrestleMania match between these two at this point, but
we'll get into more of that when I get to my highlights. But the starting with these two, great move. Yeah, loved it.
Because I said, didn't I? When Jay came out, I was like, imagine number 2 is Jimmy, and then it's Jimmy, and I'm like,
and the looks they give each other, and you can 100% tell, even though they look really similar because they're twins, the difference in their character is so obvious in their facial expressions and the way they carry themselves, and that's a real credit to both of them.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. All right, from number 3 then onwards, we've got Grayson Waller, Andrade El Idolo, or just Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Shinsuke Nakamura, Santos Escobar, Karrion Kross, Dominic Mysterio, Carlito, Bobby Lashley, Ludwig Kaiser, Austin Theory, Finn Balor, Cody Rhodes, Bronson Reed, Kofi Kingston, Gunther, Ivar, Braun Breaker, Omos, Pat McAfee. He didn't last long. We'll get into that. JD McDonough, R-Truth again, The Miz, Damian Priest, CM Punk, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, and Sami Zayn. So neither of our picks for being in it were in it.
Nope.
But that's okay.
Yes, it is, because you got both the women's ones. So.
Yes, we did. So it averages out though, right?
Yeah. Okay, so tell me once again who number 20 was.
Number 20 was Braun Breaker.
Did you know that until yesterday, well, the Royal Rumble morning, he was not in the Royal Rumble?
Oh, no.
Do you know whose spot he took?
Who's
Brock Lesnar.
I'm glad I changed my pick.
They needed to have someone as a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Because they've obviously pulled Brock Lesnar
Mm-hmm.
from the match. But everything else was exactly what Brock was supposed to do. Get
Okay.
eliminated by certain people, eliminate certain people, stand off with Omos, everything like that. That was supposed to be Brock Lesnar in that spot.
You know what, though? It worked really well with Bron Breakker. He was a great pick to be a
I get the
Brock
feeling.
Lesnar replacement.
So he had comments after the match, apparently, and I read them. I can't remember the exact wording of it. So paraphrasing something along the lines of, I'm ready to go up to the main roster. I'm ready to kick some ass and sort of put in my dues and stuff. And I was saying during the match, I'm surprised he hasn't been called up yet.
Yeah.
So, why was Brock Lesnar pulled from the Rumble, I hear everyone asking?
There we go.
Right. I'm not going to cover this long form.
No.
I'm going to cover it.
Just the top notes.
Top notes. Vince McMahon has had a lawsuit filed against him by a former employee for sexual assault and sexual trafficking to a superstar that was worked within the UFC and WWE boundaries.
So unnamed.
Unnamed. But it's clear that it's Brock Lesnar because there was a whole thing about getting to re-sign with WWE at this point, which is why Vince got this particular employee to take some very sexually orientated photos to send to Brock, and Brock was like, I like what I see. And then he re-signed.
That's so gross.
Vince has resigned from the company. I believe the TKO group said, right, you either resign or we're kicking you out.
Yeah, right.
He will never be back to the company ever again. And they pulled Brock Lesnar because of it.
Yeah.
Slim Jim, when this dropped, pulled out of the advertising for Royal Rumble. They got Vince to resign and they jumped back into the spot. But that's why Brock Lesnar wasn't in the Rumble. And Vince McMahon is no longer in the company.
We were talking about it, that they didn't name Brock specifically. And he didn't come forwards.
No.
Because if he comes forwards, he's naming himself. But then pulling him from the Rumble effectively has named him. Which is, I don't know if that's the right move, but if all the speculation's happening anyway, I guess whatever the outcome was, it would have blown up in their faces.
I think we might have seen the last of Brock Lesnar.
Maybe. Wow. All right, then. Let's move on to highlights. So as I mentioned, a highlight for me was the Jay and Jimmy starting together.
Yeah, that was great.
They had quite a bit of a back and forth to start with, up to when there were maybe 4 people. And then they did sort of forget about each other. But Jimmy continued to have quite an interesting run, just trying to make alliances with everyone. And half the time it just completely backfires. But other times you get like the people that you don't expect going, no yeet. Like, wasn't it Karrion Kross was doing a no yeet and joining in? So it made some interesting moments.
I think there's a point after they were kicking Jay in the corner that Jimmy was like, to Karrion Kross, and Karrion's looked and he went, no.
We're not there yet. That was really cool. And then he got eliminated by Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
So I did expect more to happen as like between Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah,
but
same.
It was still fun.
Same.
What else have we got? Oh, I was meant to whittle down these a bit. No worries. We're gonna skip that one. So we have the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering coming out.
Yeah.
To support Karrion Kross. Kross eliminates Lashley.
Yeah, well, Kross gets dumped first, yeah.
Yeah, so it's after Kross has been eliminated, that's right.
Did Bobby eliminate? I think Bobby eliminated Kross.
I think so. And then Kross from the outside eliminates Bobby Lashley. Yep. And then they have a massive brawl, and out come the Street Profits to help Lashley as well. And yeah, they fight their way up the ramp and out, I suppose.
So it's like Ludwig Kaiser's coming at that point, and he's just kind of like...
What's happening?
Such a refined gentleman, you know.
I did enjoy, you're going to hate this, I did enjoy Pat McAfee's spot.
Yeah, credit to you, that was fun.
It was fun. He was not dressed to wrestle at all. He's in a proper suit. He's in like snakeskin boots kind of thing.
It's like 23, 24, something like that, you come out. Into the Rumble, I think.
22.
22.
So when his music starts, he just looks so surprised.
That's right, because Braun was 20, Omos was 21, and they're having a standoff in the ring.
Yeah. So Pat gets himself psyched up. The other commentator's like, yeah, you can do this. Go on, we believe in you. And he's like, yeah, I can do this. And he gets up onto the apron, and you've just got Bron Breakker and Omos in the ring. 2 massive dudes. And he's like
Omos 7'3". He's like,
he gets in the ring, and he's like staring at him. I was like, oh no. And then he climbs over the ropes and stands on the apron. He's like, I don't know. And then he gets back in. They're like, oh, what am I doing? And then he gets back out and leaves.
Yeah.
So eliminates himself.
It was fun, don't get me wrong. But I think you should leave the comedy to R-Truth.
Yeah.
And I feel that Pat McAfee, whatever the hell you want to call him, being in this spot steals that spot from a talent who's currently sat in catering, twiddling his thumbs, doing
I was
nothing.
going to say this spot could easily have gone to someone who was actually going to do something.
They should have literally had that as 24 when R-Truth comes out, right? Mm-hmm. Have him throw JD in, get bounced out by both those guys maybe, have them stare off and R-Truth standing on the apron and he's like doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
that would have worked better. I think R-Truth fits better in that. And then you're putting someone who deserves, like Pete Dunne, Tyler Bates, just come up to the main roster, just to name 2 off the top of my head, would have been great in that. But no.
I think it's fairly likely that Pat McAfee,
whatever.
He agreed to, or like his stipulation for coming back at the Royal Rumble was, I'll do it, but I really want to be in the Rumble. And then they're like, yeah, sure. I can imagine that's something you'd probably do.
The thing is, he's under contract. You can't say anything. As far as I'm aware, he's under contract. But
yeah, I think if they like him, they're gonna pander to him a little bit. But it was fun.
Yeah.
And as alluded to, my other highlight that I've written is R-Truth. Oh gosh. So, okay, JD McDonough had earlier come out, but
23
got hit
by Braun Breaker.
He was on the outside. He hadn't gone in the ring yet, so he's just like trying to recover. R-Truth comes out while JD's still on the outside, and R-Truth helpfully picks him up, rolls him into the ring.
Just being a good Judgment Day team member, right?
Jey Uso is right there, immediately picks him up, throws him out of the ring. JD McDonough is eliminated. So yeah, and then R-Truth climbs up the ring steps. Dominic Mysterio's in the ring. R-Truth is calling for the tag. Calling for the tag. And Dominic Mysterio's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But then he gets in trouble, and then he does.
I think it's Gunther's got him, yeah.
Gunther's got him. Dominic gets out and tags R-Truth in, because how else was R-Truth going to actually help him? He's just going to stay on the outside this whole time. Yeah, R-Truth then gets very deliberately and brutally eliminated by Damian Priest.
Yeah, he literally enters in like 25, 26 where he was, and he literally beeline straight to Truth and just chucks him straight over the top and slams him. So it's like, oh my god.
I know.
Like, Priest is done with R-Truth's games.
He's just done, yeah.
Oh, there's someone at the door. Bear with us a sec.
Okay. Who gets post on a Sunday?
I know, right?
Crazy. Oh, wow. Right, any other highlights you've got before we get to the Final Four?
No.
Okay. So our Final Four, we do get a Final Four in this Rumble.
Yeah.
We've got Gunther, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes.
CM jokes, I know.
So they have a good old standoff in the ring with the 4 of them just facing each other. And then there's an interesting chop-off, I've written it as. So I think it's Gunther's chopping Cody, I think, and Drew's chopping CM Punk.
So, yeah.
It might be the other way around.
I think you're right.
They're like taking turns seeing which of them can do a bigger chop on someone. And that goes on for a little bit, but not too long. It's good. Okay. CM Punk then. McIntyre has CM Punk and does a little bit of a mini monologue at him, which gives CM Punk the opportunity to put McIntyre over the rope and eliminate him. So, thanks, Drew.
You talk too much.
You talk too much. Then we've got Gunther lifting Cody Rhodes over the ropes, but Cody grabs him and pulls him over. Oof. So Cody eliminates Gunther.
That'll treacherous.
So we are left with Cody and CM Punk. So they have another face-off.
Just for a thing with our predictions, one of us picked Punk and one of us picked Cody.
So we're very nervous at that point for many reasons. This was a really, really tough one to watch.
For many reasons.
For many reasons. So there's a lot of back and forth between them. They do moves. There's a lot of go to sleeps and a lot of other stuff happening. And when it comes down to it, CM Punk tries for another go to sleep on Cody Rhodes, but Cody catches his leg and then just like yeets him over the ropes. And CM Punk's feet hit the floor. Cody Rhodes wins.
I've never been so glad to get a prediction wrong in my life. But then doesn't CM Punk mouth off, I didn't come back just to lose to Dusty's kid.
Yeah.
That's
oh,
quite...
that was before the elimination. He said something
yeah, that's what I mean.
And then Cody puts him over, and we're like...
Dusty's kid beat you, Punk.
Yeah.
Sorry, Junk.
So that's 2 in a row for Cody Rhodes.
Yep, first time in like 26
Mhm.
years. No. Yes, 97 and 98.
Yeah.
So
First time since
yeah,
since Stone Cold.
26 years. Yeah.
Which is an achievement.
And it's like I didn't really want to see that happen.
No.
But I also didn't want to see CM Punk win.
Yeah, out of the final 2, it was a better outcome.
Out of the final 4, I would have rathered Gunther to win.
Yeah.
Out of the final
I
4.
think that would have been cool. I think we talked about it in predictions, though.
I think
there
so.
were some good storylines to go from
yeah.
there. So, what sort of struck me in this is it's absolutely no secret that we just dislike CM Punk and
Toxic.
don't want him to be in WWE. And it's very much split. The world is split with a bunch of people who love him to death and a bunch of people who just don't want to have him around. And that's fine. But what WWE have done is they've harnessed that so that everyone watching this match in that final bit where it's just those 2, everyone would have been on the edge of their seat. Everyone was engaged, and the outcome didn't alienate the half of us who don't want CM Punk. So I think they know exactly what people think, and they're playing it, and it's working.
The other side of the coin is that I don't want to see Cody versus Roman for the 2nd year in a row at WrestleMania.
No. But at the same time,
I hate that.
Worked.
I absolutely like. It's the same when Austin and The Rock fought at 15, 17, and 19. At least you had a year in between.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
It's not like when Rock and Cena had a match once in a lifetime, and then the next night in Raw, it's like, yeah, let's do it again next year. It's like, come on, seriously, I don't want to see the same main event 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it is silly. It's like, what's the point in having a main event of WrestleMania if it's going to happen all the time?
Yep.
And like multiple years in a row.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
So I guess this does mean that either The Rock is not a lock-in for WrestleMania, or they're going to make it a triple threat with The Rock.
Ooh, interesting.
Which then kind of just kind of poo-poos all over Cody's story.
Yeah.
Because The Rock, right?
A little bit. So, sign points?
Yep.
Only 3. Only 3 sign points, including Cody's one at the end after he won.
Yeah.
And Cody's point at the end, he sort of then starts turning around, still pointing, and then directs his finger right up into the stands where Roman Reigns was watching.
The skybox, yeah.
And then Roman Reigns is like, is he pointing at me? Because obviously you can't see, because he's like a little ant in the middle of the ring down there.
Oh, there'll be a screen, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I'm sure in the skybox they can see. But yeah, that they have a very distant face-off.
I kind of wanted them to sort of go back and have the little, like the theatre glasses. Yeah. Roman Reigns like,
they're pointing at me. Yeah, it was overall a good match. Again, really fun spots.
Yeah.
It was definitely a Royal Rumble like we'd expect.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
Cool. Okay. As a whole, what do you think?
I really enjoyed the show as a whole. I think having less matches, it sort of made it feel a bit more of a coherent thing.
Even though it was 4 hours long.
It was 4 hours long, but I didn't find myself like getting 2/3 of the way through the show and needing to get caffeine. I made it through the whole thing without getting a cup of tea, which is insane for me. So I think that just shows the energy in all 4 of the matches was up there and sort of kept it going. There was still way too much filler. Come on, guys. Yeah. You don't need it. Oh, terrible. But it's like we were saying, in AEW, they don't have any filler at all, practically. Maybe 1 or 2 bits, because they put ads during the matches. They'll put like in
the lower third.
Third. But it's not like WWE aren't putting ads in the matches, because they got Slim Jim sponsor
all over the ring, yeah.
So I don't know what the solution is. But yeah, it's still too much filler, but it's not going to change.
No, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Least enjoyed match. What did you enjoy the least?
It was tough, because I did enjoy all of them, but it would be probably Logan Paul and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
I think it's quite. I did enjoy all the matches, but I think that one would probably be there for the finish.
See, for me, I felt the finish of the Fatal 4-Way was worse.
Yeah.
Because even though Kevin Owens got screwed and the referee's a moron, just that abrupt, like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Finish was just, oh.
I think I enjoyed more of the content of that match. More, it had more, like, stuff going on, I guess.
Maybe it's just because I liked seeing Kevin Owens beat the hell out of Logan Paul.
Yeah, that was
match.
pretty good.
But yeah, for me, I think it's the Fatal 4-Way.
Okay.
Just the end of the match, it was just too abrupt. It came out of nowhere. There was no rhyme or reason. It was like, oh, that's awful. That's bad. What was your most enjoyed match?
I'm going to say Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think with the men's, I really did enjoy it, but having the butterflies in my stomach when it got to that final four. And
Yeah.
just like I don't really. I know that I don't want the person to win who's going to win, whoever it is.
Yeah.
So that sort of took it down a bit for me. But the women's Royal Rumble, it was just fun.
Yeah.
So
And you know what?
that's my pick.
I agree. It's Women's Rumble.
Yeah,
So going
go
from
on,
my
you
least
women.
looking forward match to the most entertaining match of the night.
That's crazy.
The only major downside I thought for me was the Valhalla thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
That was a downer, but at least it was only a very small moment.
Yeah. And so like seeing Jade Cargill just powerlifting up Nia
Oh.
Jax, my God.
There's some powerful
Nuts.
women. There's some great women in the women's division. You need to use them. They're so good.
Mhm.
You can do so much with that division.
Yep.
Just give them a chance.
Yeah. All right. What's going to be next on our wrestling agenda then? Since CM Punk didn't win,
Way.
so we are still going to be carrying on with wrestling content for WWE
For now, until the next thing.
until he headlines WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, and then that sign comes back out.
Probably. I think it's Elimination Chamber then, February 24th.
Correct, from Perth, Australia.
Oh yes, the Australian one.
Yeah.
So Rhea Ripley's going to have a great time.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends. Well, I can't see him dumping her into a match, an
No.
Elimination Chamber match, but I might be wrong.
Grayson Waller will be involved though, because he's Australian as well,
Correct.
isn't he?
They might do a Waller effect thing, Grayson Waller effect on the match or whatever. Yeah.
He's a heel. He's such a heel.
And do you remember when the next AEW event is?
I do not.
It's about a week after that, on March the 3rd.
Oh, I kind of almost wish
Revolution.
CM Punk won. This is going to be a lot of work.
Sting's final match
Yeah.
before he fully retires.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think I've covered everything I wanted
Take us
to.
away, Leanne.
Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you as always, and we will be back with more WWE content. Thanks, Cody. Please remember to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified when we drop new videos. It's that subscriber count that counts most for us. So please do that if you haven't already. Follow us on socials. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and X, or Twitter, whatever you fancy calling it. Our link tree's in the description below, which will take you to those, as well as links to various videos that we've done in different categories. If you've got any questions to ask our wonderful audience.
Who do you think is going to be in the Elimination Chamber matches, men and women's? Who would you pick, and which title is it for?
Yeah, all those things. Talk to us in the comments. Talk to us on socials. Thank you for jumping in. I did not prep him to ask a question.
That was the first thing off the top of my head, because Elimination Chamber is next. 4 weeks.
It is next.
4 weeks yesterday. Yes, yesterday, yeah.
So
And
we'll
it's
see you
great
then.
because we can watch that live. So it's going to be airing in the UK at 10 a.m. live from Australia.
Amazing.
Yes.
The rest of the world can feel our pain.
What savage. Damn.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
The Rumble ready.
Club.